listen, John, where do you wash when you're on tour?
Where do we wash? A lot of lakes, you know, if we're passing by lakes, we jump in once in a while.
That must be alright, though.
Yeah. Club bathrooms. Yeah, like, I remember there was a bathroom in Cincinnati once where I had to take a shit, and it was the worst shit of my life.
Oh, yeah, because...
It smelled bad, and it was puke all over the place.
And you didn't want to sit down on the toilet bowl?
I didn't want to sit on the toilet.
Yeah, right.
And I had to.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Well, what would you do if you were in India sort of thing, where they stand on the toilet bowl? You know,
well,
Indians,
then, you know, I would expect that,
yeah,
so I would have to...
deal with it.
So I would have to shit like that.
That was where, in Cincinnati?
Yeah. So never take a shit in Cincinnati. Never take a shit in Cincinnati.
Okay, on the tour, who was the one who smelt the worst?
TJ, by far.
TJ smelt the worst?
TJ, by far.
Yeah? Was he, like, not into washing and shit like
TJ
that?
just has a very bad body odor.
Right.
And
really fast, right?
And, yeah, it gets in his sleeping bag, and you have to tie his sleeping bag up and put it in a corner and stuff. And Steve's socks, too, smell, like, really badly.
He's one of those, like, really Rico feet?
Well, that's the general rule.
That dude's feet.
Anyway, and Steve doesn't take off
his shoes, yeah.
Steve has very smelly feet.
What about, have you noticed that when he smokes, he gets totally, like, lost?
Who?
Steve?
Steve?
Yeah, you mentioned taking wrong turns on autoroutes.
Yeah, that's one thing about the tour, was that Steve really liked taking tours around cities. Like, we'd usually go for a good half-an-hour tour around the whole city and stuff before we'd actually go in. Yeah. Steve just liked doing things like that, you know? He'd drive around for a while, check
no
it
hag,
out.
No hag.
No hag.
Get the feel of the city, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Steve was hamming it up.
Yeah, he's kind of like that as a drummer. He likes to sort of take a tour of his drums for about a half an hour before he likes to jam.
This is the My Dog Popper drummer.
Yeah, right. Steve, yeah. Sometimes My Dog Popper drummer, when he can find the time for us.
Yeah.
And he's not out on tour with bands.
Well, but when he's out on tour with bands, he's always pushing My Dog Popper.
Yeah, that's true. He's like a goodwill ambassador for Popper.
It happened lots of times. They'd come up to me and Steve and say, "So have you ever heard this band My Dog Popper from Montreal?" Me and Steve would usually laugh for a while. We'd laugh and then we'd look at them and we'd say, "Yeah."
Yeah, well, would he admit that he was even from the band, or would he just...
No,
like,
yeah, he'd tell them he was in the band and he played drums and that they were the greatest band. Lots of times.
Yeah, that's pretty funny.
Lots of times. My Dog Popper charts everywhere.
Whereas it's mostly in Canada, though, eh? Not in the States so much.
Yeah, and I'm trying to think of some places in the States. It happened a few times in the States. I think once in California it happened.
Yeah.
Maybe once in Atlanta.
In LA, in San Francisco, no?
I think it was in San Francisco.
Our first letter ever was from a guy from Subterranean.
Really?
Yeah, some weirdo guy sent us, like, hair and stuff.
Really?
And, like, plasticine and...
Did you use that in your Halloween costume?
Yeah. Oh, yeah? Cool. Hey, were you in Baltimore?
Yeah, we played Baltimore a few times.
Is it as bad as they said it was in Spin?
What, Baltimore?
Yeah.
Baltimore is is for sure the best city to play on the East Coast.
Really, eh?
For sure, by far. The kids are really responsive. They're pack it in all the time.
No violence or...
No. Well,
really?
Our last show in Baltimore, all the skinheads from Washington, D.C. came down and caused a lot of violence. So the bouncers had to stop the show and kick all the skinheads from D.C. out, and then the show just went on again.
And did they, like, wait outside for people or
No, they
anything?
just left.
Split? That's weird.
Yeah.
What, you had problems with that, eh? Like, people getting involved with you and following you around?
Yeah, like in Florida we had the SS Skins following us around.
Why?
For 5 shows, because they love the band.
But you're not anything like that at all, though.
I couldn't figure it out either.
This is how bands get bad names, you know, I think.
And what can we do, you know? Like, I mean, we were having great shows. Tons of kids were coming out to our show. And it'd be a good show except for these SS Skin dudes would get in the middle. They'd have a few beers, and they'd start beating up anybody that had long hair, had short hair, that looked like a punk and didn't agree with whatever they agree with.
These were like
Didn't
Nazi
have the same
skins?
attitude. Totally Nazi Skins. They'd stand in front of us and go, "Z Kyle," and we'd just sort of stop and go, "What the fuck, man? What do you want us to do?"
You almost get in fights with these guys? No.
No way. Like, they're big guys, and there's lots of them, and we just rather let them buy our records and fight with them.
Makes you wish you had a gun to shoot them, huh?
They had a gun, actually. I went to a party afterwards, and they were shooting the gun in the forest, a really big gun. And it was funny. They were just...
All guns are really big when you look at them.
Yeah, it's a big thing in Florida, guns and loans.
In America, right?
Yeah, guns and loans are a big thing.
Guns and loans?
Yeah.
Get a loan to buy a gun, right?
Yeah.
Get a loan
Guns
to
and
buy
loans.
Get a loan to buy a gun, go in debt to have some fun. Oh, bad lyrics. So, John, tell me, have you ever been to a My Dog Popper show?
I think I've been to pretty well all the My Dog Popper shows, I think. I'm not sure.
Which was your favorite show?
The Minutemen one at Concordia. That was my favorite show by far.
Yeah, that's when we did the Pusshead's a Wanker, right?
Yeah. I think my worst, the one I didn't like the most was the one at the Cargo.
At the Cargo, eh?
Yeah. That was my most, the one I didn't.
Love Boat.
Yeah.
And Ed Broadbent. Yeah, that was without the drums, right? With
Yeah.
the drum machine.
Yeah.
That's the one that Steve saw us and fell down on the floor and wanted to become our drummer after that, actually. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know, my least favorite show of all, I guess, was Halloween show.
Oh yeah, the Halloween show would have been really good if it would have been somewhere big. It was just a bad.
The show would have been